is soon going to cost more money to jump on a plane and go on vacation. A new TSA fee is about to kick in. Travelers are always looking for ways to bring down the cost of going on vacation, lodging and food. And we want to help you today with some steps you can take. Rejoining us is Howard Schwartz, who helped us in our last hour avoid identity theft while you're on vacation. Today we talk about saving money from the Connecticut Better Business Bureau, by the way, if I didn't say that before. The first thing you say is the hotel fees. Talk about the TSA fees, hotel fees. What are those fees and how do you fight them in the first place?
Well, they're called resort fees. The Federal Trade Commission calls it drip pricing, in the same way as the airlines have tacked on extra fees for things like baggage and food and that sort of thing. Hotels are now charging people for access to Wi-Fi, use of the workout facilities, those kinds of things. But where you run into a problem is if you've booked an all-inclusive vacation, you're ready to check out, you're about to go to the airport, and you see they've tacked on anywhere from $25 to $35
it really adds
per
up.
night. It does. So you should be calling ahead of time to find out whether there are these types of fees, or when you check in, you don't want the surprise, and you don't want to start fighting with the hotel when you're waiting to go to the airport.
No, definitely not. That's a terrible way to get things started off. Can you just tell the hotel, I don't want to pay this fee?
Absolutely.
And give it a shot, right?
You can give it a shot, and don't be surprised if there is a fee for things like getting a safe in your room. But by and large, you can waive the other fees.
A safe in your room is a fee?
They're starting to charge you $5 a day, $10 a day.
That's just ridiculous. You talk about where to get cash. Well, the thought that most people have is go to the ATM to get cash. What are the risks of that?
If you're using a standalone ATM in another country, you're not guaranteed that it's going to be in the most safe location. You're not guaranteed that someone hasn't tampered with the card reader slot. That's an emerging problem we have right now. You want to go online, find out where you can get a good deal, or at least the fees won't be as high. Avoid getting local currency at a change counter because that tends to be higher. And stick with bank ATMs. It's a lot safer if you're going there.
All right, this is really important stuff here. Ask about discounts. Ask for an upgrade. Again, coming under the heading of it never hurts to ask, you won't get it unless you do.
No, and you'd be surprised. Let's give the example of rental cars for starters.
Okay.
Most people want the least expensive and the smallest cars. Those are often the first that are scooped up. So they'll be willing to give you an upgrade. But when you get to your hotel, don't be afraid to ask. If you're new, say, look, I'd like to be a return customer. How can you help me out? And if you are a loyal customer, not only will you be able to get an upgrade, but also you can rack up those loyalty points for next time.
I would certainly think that with so much competition now, with especially all these travel websites that we endlessly see advertised on television, that hotels, it behooves them to meet the customer's needs and requests like you talk about.
That's right. Now, not all hotels are perfect. You will find some that have problems with staff. They won't be able to accommodate you, but for the most part, if you go to a hotel, they will bend over backwards to help you because the vacation landscape has changed so much.
Yeah, absolutely. If they have a bad experience once or even a slightly bad experience, they're not coming back again. There's plenty of competition. In fact, let's talk more about this notion of booking through Travelocity or one of these other innumerable online travel sites. Can you find out from the sites sort of what these fees are? Do you get that information on these sites, or do you have to dig deeper to find that out?
You have to dig deeper. Contact the hotel ahead of time because that all-inclusive price, they're talking about the hotel and the flight. But you don't always know exactly what the fees are going to be, and that is a problem. In fact, the government has warned a whole bunch of big hotel chains, start disclosing these fees.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, after a while, you get the feeling, and it's certainly not limited to hotels on vacation, but they nickel and dime you to death if you don't stay on top of it. And of course, that comes on top of enormous hotel taxes in some places that often isn't listed in the price of the room.
That's right. Disclosure is very, very important, but we should be thinking about other things to save money as well. Let's use food as an example. Americans tend to eat our largest meal at dinner time, and that's when menu prices shoot up. So try and make lunch your biggest meal of the day. And if you ask the concierge or the maitre d' for a recommendation to a hotel, to a restaurant, they'll give you a very nice choice, but it might be pricey and touristy. So ask the bartender or the barista, they may be able to recommend something that's local and has good food.
That's a very clever thing, because there's a good chance the maitre d' is sort of in on getting some of the action from that anyway, making those recommendations. Extremely interesting and useful information. Howard, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, now this is stuff you can use, people.